Twist and Ernest is by Laura T. Barnes and illustrated by Carol A. Camburn. Ernest is not just any donkey. He's a scruffy little miniature donkey. He stands just over 2 feet tall. Ernest has long ears that are as big as his face. He has a thick, shaggy brown coat with a furry white belly. He has little short legs with teeny, tiny hooves. Ernest is a perky, friendly little fella who lives in the barn and grazes the pastures with the other farm animals. Jane the cow and Clarabelle her calf graze the pastures with Ernest, but they don't pay much attention to him. The chickens are friendly and sometimes share Ernest's grain when he's not looking, but they don't pay much attention to the little donkey either. Ernest was lonely. He needed a buddy, a friend to spend his days with, someone besides the cows and the chickens. One spring day, while Ernest was grazing, a truck with a big trailer backed up to the pasture gates. Ernest perked his head up and looked toward the gate to see what was going on. The door to the trailer opened and out trotted a beautiful, tall copper horse with a big white blaze on his forehead. Ernest stared. He couldn't believe it. It was a horse. He could be friends with a horse. The friend he was hoping for was here at last. Ernest started to prance and buck, throwing his hind legs up with delight. The new horse's name was Twist. He was a big, beautiful show horse. He was much, much bigger than Ernest. Twist was used to roaming the pastures with other fancy show horses. His old friends were tall and handsome with beautiful brushed coats and shiny manes and tails just like him. Twist held his head and tail high and pranced his way into the pasture. He looked at the scruffy little donkey and frowned. He didn't want to be here with him. Twist turned away with a snort. But there was no discouraging Ernest. He was far too excited. He galloped and bucked and snorted with glee. Hee-haw! Hee-haw! I have a new friend! Yay for me! And he raced in circles around Twist, saying, Hello, hello, welcome. I am so glad you're here. I've been so lonely, and now I have a friend to share my home with. Twist simply looked the other way. Ernest continued talking. I need to tell you all about your new home. We have 2 cows, but they're cows. Plus, they have each other. We also have a bunch of noisy chickens and roosters, but they're always crowing and hanging around my grain box, trying to get my food. Don't worry about the cows and the chickens. You can have me as your friend. We're going to have so much fun together, said Ernest. Oh no, thought Twist. I'm not going to be stuck with this scruffy little donkey. Well, Ernest did not realize that Twist did not want to be his friend. So Ernest went right on chatting. Here, follow me. Let me show you around. Well, Twist didn't want to follow the little donkey, but Twist didn't have anything better to do, so he slowly followed Ernest. Come on, said Ernest, trotting away. He walked over to the stream. This is our pond and stream. We can get water anytime we want. I bet you're thirsty. Come on, have a sip. Well, Twist had to admit the long ride in the horse trailer had made him thirsty. He took a long drink of cool water. Twist realized that Ernest was right. It will be nice to drink from the icy stream every day. Twist just hoped the little donkey would not follow him every time he needed a drink. Okay, continued Ernest. My tour is not done. Just look at this beautiful green pasture. It's ours, the whole thing. We can eat and eat until our bellies are full. Well, Twist looked at the little donkey and thought, what is this wee stuff? Don't think I'm going to hang around with you. You're too little, and I can't spend all my time with a scruffy donkey. But Ernest was far too excited at finding a new friend to notice that Twist was not happy to have a little donkey by his side. Hee haw, said Ernest excitedly. Now for the best part. Come on, he said as he walked toward the barn. This is our stable. We get grain and hay every night. I never miss this. It's my favorite time of day. Now we can eat together. Yay for us! Well, Twist had to admit that the place was nice. He was even getting used to the little donkey. Ernest was a happy little fellow, and he was even sort of cute. Twist was beginning to like his new home and his new friend. Well, Twist decided to wander around the pasture, and he walked to one side of the field and then to the other. It was very big and had plenty of green grass. He ate in the field for a long time, and Ernest ate right beside him. After a while, Ernest stopped munching on grass and looked at Twist. He watched as Twist stretched his neck around, trying to scratch his belly. He stretched and stretched, but Twist couldn't reach. He then lifted his back hoof and tried to scratch his belly with his hoof. No matter how much he tried, Twist could not scratch his belly. Ernest moved closer and said, "Here, let me help." He was so tiny that he could stand right underneath Twist. Ernest lifted his head slightly and started to scratch Twist's belly with his teeth. "Oh, that feels good. Thank you," said Twist. "Thank you for scratching my belly. That feels much better." "Sure," said Ernest. "What are friends for?" And Twist realized that Ernest was right. Ernest was becoming his friend. Twist's first day turned into many peaceful days. Gradually, Twist and Ernest fell into their daily habit. They ate in the pasture during the early morning hours when the sun was bright, the air was cool, and all was quiet. As the morning hours ended, they would go down to the stream and take a nice long cool sip of water and then go up to the barn. They liked to stay in their stable throughout the afternoon. It was cooler there. They lay down and took a long afternoon nap together in the quiet surroundings. And soon the two became best friends. The difference in their size did not matter. Wherever Ernest was, Twist was right beside him. Ernest was no longer lonely. He had finally found the friend he'd been hoping for. Twist found a peaceful and relaxing home. And like Ernest, Twist had found a very special friend. A friend different than he had ever imagined, but sometimes they are the best friend of all. And that was Twist and Ernest by Laura T. Barnes, illustrated by Carol A. Camburn. Together, they wrote more stories based on the animals at Laura's farm. Her farm is called Barnyard. Barnyard is a farm for homeless animals. It's a happy, peaceful place where animals can come to enjoy quiet, restful days grazing in the pasture. Animals are welcome at Barnyard, where their previous owners can no longer care for them. The animals spend their days surrounded by green pastures and lots of love. And this farm is Laura's inspiration. She also wrote Teeny Tiny Ernest, Ernest and the Big Itch, Ernest's Special Christmas, Ernest and Elston. And here's her farm. The animals actually live underneath their house. Do you recognize the birdhouse? Thank you, Chilton PTA, for providing the supplies for Create and Read Evening. If you had signed up, you have the supplies to make Ernest, our little donkey, and Twist, our horse. Have a great evening.